We recite to you from the news of Moses and Pharaoh in truth for a people who believe. Indeed, Pharaoh exalted himself in the land and made its people into factions, oppressing a sector among them, slaughtering their newborn sons and keeping their females alive. Indeed, he was of the corrupters. And we wanted to confer favor upon those who were oppressed in the land, and make them leaders and make them inheritors, and establish them in the land, and show Pharaoh and his minister Haman and their soldiers through them that which they had feared. And we inspired to the mother of Moses, suckle him, but when you fear for him, cast him into the river, and do not fear and do not grieve. Indeed, we will return him to you, and will make him one of the messengers. And the family of Pharaoh picked him up out of the river, so that he would become to them an enemy and a cause of grief. Indeed, Pharaoh and Haman and their soldiers were deliberate sinners. And the wife of Pharaoh said, "He will be a comfort of the eye for me and for you. Do not kill him. Perhaps he may benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." And they perceived not. And the heart of Moses' mother became empty of all else. She was about to disclose the matter concerning him, had we not bound fast her heart, that she would be of the believers. And she said to his sister, "Follow him." So she watched him from a distance, while they perceived not. And we had prevented from him all wet nurses before. So she said, "Shall I direct you to a household that will be responsible for him for you, while they are to him for his upbringing sincere?" So we restored him to his mother, that she might be content and not grieve, and that she would know that the promise of Allah is true. But most of the people do not know. And when he attained his full strength and was mentally mature, we bestowed upon him judgment and knowledge, and thus do we reward the doers of good. And he entered the city at a time of inattention by its people, and found therein two men fighting, one from his faction and one from among his enemy. And the one from his faction called for help to him against the one from his enemy. So Moses struck him and unintentionally killed him. Moses said, "This is from the work of Satan. Indeed, he is a manifest, misleading enemy." He said, "My Lord, indeed I have wronged myself, so forgive me." And he forgave him. Indeed, he is the forgiving, the merciful. He said, "My Lord, for the favor you bestowed upon me, I will never be an assistant to the criminals." And he became inside the city fearful and anticipating exposure, when suddenly the one who sought his help the previous day cried out to him once again. Moses said to him, "Indeed, you are an evident, persistent deviator." And when he wanted to strike the one who was an enemy to both of them, he said, "O Moses, do you intend to kill me as you killed someone yesterday? You only want to be a tyrant in the land, and do not want to be of the amenders." And a man came from the farthest end of the city, running. He said, "O Moses, indeed the eminent ones are conferring over you, intending to kill you, so leave the city. Indeed, I am to you of the sincere advisers." So he left it, fearful and anticipating apprehension. He said, "My Lord, save me from the wrongdoing people." And when he directed himself toward Madian, he said, "Perhaps my Lord will guide me to the sound way." And when he came to the well of Madian, he found there a crowd of people watering their flocks. And he found aside from them two women driving back their flocks. He said, "What is your circumstance?" They said, "We do not water until the shepherds dispatch their flocks, and our father is an old man." So he watered their flocks for them. Then he went back to the shade and said, "My Lord, indeed I am, for whatever good you would send down to me, in need." Then one of the two women came to him walking with shyness. She said, "Indeed, my father invites you, that he may reward you for having watered for us." So when he came to him and related to him the story, he said, "Fear not, you have escaped from the wrongdoing people." One of the women said, "O my father, hire him. Indeed, the best one you can hire is the strong and the trustworthy." He said, "Indeed, I wish to wed you one of these, my 2 daughters, on the condition that you serve me for 8 years. But if you complete 10, it will be as a favor from you. And I do not wish to put you in difficulty. You will find me, if Allah wills, from among the righteous." Moses said, "That is established between me and you. Whichever of the 2 terms I complete, there is no injustice to me, and Allah, over what we say, is witness." And when Moses had completed the term and was traveling with his family, he perceived from the direction of the mount a fire. He said to his family, "Stay here. Indeed, I have perceived a fire. Perhaps I will bring you from there some information or burning wood from the fire that you may warm yourselves." But when he came to it, he was called from the right side of the valley in a blessed spot, from the tree, "O Moses, indeed I am Allah, Lord of the worlds." And he was told, "Throw down your staff." But when he saw it writhing as if it was a snake, he turned in flight and did not return. Allah said, "O Moses, approach and fear not. Indeed, you are of the secure. Insert your hand into the opening of your garment. It will come out white, without disease. And draw in your arm close to you as prevention from fear. For those are 2 proofs from your Lord to Pharaoh and his establishment. Indeed, they have been a people defiantly disobedient." He said, "My Lord, indeed I killed from among them someone, and I fear they will kill me. And my brother Aaron is more fluent than me in tongue, so send him with me as support, verifying me. Indeed, I fear that they will deny me." Allah said, "We will strengthen your arm through your brother, and grant you both supremacy so they will not reach you. It will be through our signs. You and those who follow you will be the predominant." But when Moses came to them with our signs as clear evidences, they said, "This is not except invented magic, and we have not heard of this religion among our forefathers." And Moses said, "My Lord is more knowing than we or you of who has come with guidance from him, and to whom will be succession in the home. Indeed, wrongdoers do not succeed." And Pharaoh said, "O eminent ones, I have not known you to have a god other than me. Then ignite for me, O Haman, a fire upon the clay, and make for me a tower, that I may look at the God of Moses. And indeed, I do think he is among the liars." And he was arrogant, he and his soldiers, in the land, without right, and they thought that they would not be returned to us. So we took him and his soldiers and threw them into the sea. So see how was the end of the wrongdoers. And we made them leaders, inviting to the fire, and on the day of resurrection they will not be helped. And we caused to overtake them in this world a curse, and on the day of resurrection they will be of the despised. And we gave Moses the scripture, after we had destroyed the former generations, as enlightenment for the people, and guidance and mercy that they might be reminded. And you, O Muhammad, were not on the western side of the mount when we revealed to Moses the command, and you were not among the witnesses to that.